Remind people, where was the Houston Cougar football program when Bill Yeoman took over as the head coach?
Well, they had kind of been mired in mediocrity until Yeoman took over in 1962. He knew there was a pretty big talent gap he was facing. And, U of H also, just like the basketball team, U of H would play teams that had African-American players on it, teams from the West Coast like Washington State and Oregon, people like that. And Yeoman, like I said, he knew he needed a talent upgrade. And there is the story in the book where early on, Bill Yeoman, he met with some of the black leaders of Houston, businessmen, clergy people. There was a gentleman I talk about in the book. His name is Quentin Meese. He was one of the local leaders of the NAACP in Houston. And he was at a meeting, I believe it was at Shamrock Hilton one night. And Coach Yeoman has told me this story several times. And he said, he got up and said in front of all these gentlemen, he said, "I'm prejudiced." And he said they all got a look in their eye like, what? He says, "I'm prejudiced against bad football players." And so Yeoman knew he needed a talent upgrade. He decided he was going to recruit the best athlete possible. And he came from Michigan State, which, was one of the leaders as far as integrating programs and assimilating African-American players, and students. And when he came down here, he told me also, he says, he was too stupid to realize that people had a problem down here with race. And, he just wanted to recruit football players. And he didn't think along the terms of black and white. He just thought, hey, I need a good football player. It doesn't matter what color they were. And I talked to a lot of Yeoman's assistant coaches back then, like Chuck Fairbanks, Bum Phillips, who was on the staff for a couple of years. And, they said Coach Yeoman didn't see color. When they would look at films of players to recruit, it didn't matter. So Coach Yeoman pretty much changed the thinking down in this part of the country as far as getting the best athlete available.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.